Well, have you been out on deck or looked out the window today? How would you like to try to find your way around on this vast and trackless ocean? Lines of latitude are divided up into degrees, right? And there are 60 minutes in a degree. This isn't time, minutes, this is arc measurement. All right, arc measurement. 60 minutes in a degree, and there is 1 minute of latitude equals 1 nautical mile. So what we're spanning here, here's 59 degrees south, 58 degrees south. Between the dividers right there is 60 nautical miles, okay? And for those of you that need to know, 1 nautical mile is equal to about 6,080 feet. I'm going to say about 6,080 feet because did you know that the Earth is an oblate spheroid, right? It's spinning and it's been squashed at the poles. It's wider at the equator. And so if you're measuring arc distance on that surface, it's going to change wherever you are. So it's about 6,080 feet. Is 1 knot equals 1 nautical mile per hour. And we talk about wind speed in knots, we talk about the ship speed in knots and all that kind of stuff. Speed is measured in knots. But the interesting thing is knots is spelled K-N-O-T, and nautical is spelled with an N. So why is that? Because in the old days, what they would do is heave the log, the speed log. Now the speed log was a piece of wood, looks a bit like a kite, big triangle thing with a bridle on it, and it wouldn't slip through the water. So if you chucked it overboard, it basically was a sea anchor. And then there would be a line coming off of it going to a reel. On that line there were knots. Those knots were spaced 48 feet apart. Why 48 feet? Because it was 8 of these. Fathoms. An arm span is about 6 feet. That's a fathom. That's how sailors measured line. If you went to the line chandlery, the marine supply store, you bought from the guy who had the longest arms, right? 8 of these spans between the knots and 48 feet apart. And then you would throw it overboard, and there was a guy with a little egg timer. Little hourglass, sand hourglass, but it was measured to 27 seconds because that's the ratio. 27 seconds is to 3,600 seconds, which is an hour, as is 48 feet is to 6,080 feet. All right, and you would just count the number of knots that went through your fingers. Boom, you got your ship speed in knots. That's why it's spelled with a K.